Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Unicorn Trajectory podcast. So the topic today is people and culture dynamics in transitioning from an early stage to a growth stage startup. Our guest today is Zein Nemri, founders of System of Harmony, an on-demand people and culture service firm for startup and scale-up. And previously, she is VP of People and Culture at Sarwa, one of the fastest growing fintech startups in the Middle East. Hi, Zain, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Skye. Very, very happy and excited to be here.
One of the big transitions that I see startups have is when they transition from the early stage, which is like friends, family, or kind of like very close knit vibe, to startup like Series A, and they start scaling up and become more of an organization, so to speak. So, in your experience and from your point of view, like how does startup culture evolve from the early stage to the, let's say, the early growth stage, Series A?
It's a good question. I think it's always really tricky to go from that early stage where it's kind of just, like you said, friends and family, or just maybe people that had just graduated that joined you and now they grew so much, and a mix of random people that feels like family. Um, to actually, okay, no, we need to start hiring people that are, let's say, um, very experienced in a specific field, because we need that to get us from A to B, or to get us through Series A and beyond, to get us to growth. So the kinds of people that you need to have at the organization changes quite rapidly, and this is both inside out, but also outside in. Let's say pressure from VCs or from what other similar startups are doing, and it ends up getting founders to feel like they need to hire very specific experienced people, and um, and I think a huge shift that happens is there ends up being a lot of friction between getting those new people, those super experienced, maybe more corporate types of people into the company, and then having to start building things like career leveling and making titles all kind of uh, um, fit or match in a specific type of structure, and it starts to feel a lot more structured. Basically, the long story short. And in doing so, it causes a lot of friction sometimes, if not done very consciously and considerately. And then that happens with the older team members who feel maybe, okay, this is our baby too. Maybe we're not the founders, but this is our baby. And then there's all these people coming in and they don't care as much as we care about the company. They didn't put in what we put in. And it can start to feel like um, us versus them if not done consciously, like you said. And it can also start to feel like those people are pushed out, uh, regardless of the intention or the positive intention that could be there. If not done, like you said, consciously and strategically, it can cause a huge rift between the two as you're scaling up and you're going into growth mode. So I think it's really important to be considerate of the team that did build the company, while still pushing towards what you need to be successful for your growth.
Yes, I have a lot of compassion for both the founders and the early teams and the new, let's say, more experienced managers coming to the team, because they all get themselves into a situation, or they are in a situation where it just emotionally stressful, right? It's like it's a stage where, okay, we're no longer a friends, family, company. We're not yet an organization, and we have a lot of targets, and we need to grow so fast, and it just the and somewhere in the background there's like a kind of like a growing up effect that take place. So like as a founders, you might not know like, or you might not be trained on how to deal with all these things, and you have to answer to all your customers and your investor, da, da, da. Whereas the earlier team, they will feel like, okay, why is this no longer like a family? And then the experienced managers coming to the show, it might be like, it's almost like breaking into a family, literally. So it's kind of like stressful for everyone. So what would be your recommendations on, let's say, 3 things that the founders can do like consciously in this phase?
Before I answer your question, I just want to add to it is that it is stressful for everyone. So I think in my last answer, I was focusing more on the people that were there
Yeah.
from day one, but it is also really stressful for the people coming in if it's not cohesive, because they also feel like, what am I doing wrong? I'm trying everything I can with these people, and it's like they hate me from day one. It's like I wasn't set up for success. And I have so much empathy for the old team, the new team, and the founders in the situation. And I think to answer your question, some things that founders can do is to sit with your team, to meet with your team, to have very open communication and say, hey, we've succeeded so far. We're about to go into a growth stage, and things are going to look different. Here's how we envision things to look. We're not 100% sure, but we'll be building it and growing it together. And there's a space for each of you in this new team, but it's going to look different. And we're going to have to bring in these types of people. And this is kind of what we think the new org chart would look like. And we're going to have individual conversations with each one of you to talk about what your place in this new org chart is and how you can learn, how you can benefit. Are there things that you need to maybe upskill on to get to contribute more at the new level that we need to be at? Maybe somebody's wearing 5 different hats, and the founder or their manager sits with them and say, "Hey, you don't need to wear these 5 hats anymore. You have to choose one or two, and we're going to support you to being an expert in that." Um, and it's really having that open communication and open conversation that I think creates job security, creates trust from early on, so that if there are any breakdowns once new people come in and once things are scaling rapidly, that foundation is still really strong. So I think it really starts with addressing it head on.
Yes. So what I'm hearing here is 2 things. First is so actually 3 things. First thing is like from all of these audience, the founders really need to step up and own the task of, hey, we're all stressful, but I'm gonna take the seat of like directing like where we're going and really take charge of the communication, which is point number 2, right? And communication. And the third thing is I started creating organizational structure, like even if it's like a minimal ones. And I want to zoom into the communications and creating and and continue to build trust is so important, because in the beginning it's almost like a given, right? Because everyone is very close, everyone is like such a close knit team of like, let's say 10 people, and we are so close, and it's relatively easy to bond and create trust in this case. And in my career, especially in startup, I've always found that uh, a startup situation is, it's always a situation where we growing all the time, and we always have like really high target, and we always lack of the resources to move to the next phase. So I've always been very transparent with my team. For example, I remember there was one time when I was like working on a really early startup, and we didn't even have budget to buy everyone a laptop, a company laptop. And I was just very open with the team, with the team that I wanted to hire. and some of them came from like very big companies. I just know how to screen for the people who are a bit of like builders and they want to create something. And I was very upfront with them. I was like, hey guys, for the first 1 year or 18 months, we're not gonna have a salary raise. We're not gonna have like a company laptop. We're gonna work together towards the point that we can actually uh, afford all of those things. Like, are you guys open to that? And the opportunities here is to actually like create something new. It's not to enjoy the perks right now. And to my surprise, people actually like was open to it as long as you put what you can put on the table, right?
Definitely.
So the communication, it's one aspect that I see that sometimes when both, all the three parties, like the old employees and the founders and the new employees are stressed, it's just we just stop communicating. This is like not good.
Exactly. And that's what you see happening in so many companies is the higher the stress levels, the the greater the divide between leaders and the rest of the team. And the more that there's silence and silos and um, just a total lack of clear communication. And founders think that employees or they want to believe that people don't notice, but people are so sensitive and intuitive. Um, in general, we're just intuitive beings, and we feel that. So if there's something wrong, I think it's always best to address it directly and openly, as you said. If stress is high, talk about what's going on. Because like you said, people really want to feel like, especially in early stage startups, people really want to feel like they're part of something greater. People really want to feel like they have a collective purpose of what they're doing towards a mission or vision. That drives people further than a raise or a perk or a laptop. Uh, and I've seen it time and time again.